Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're going to look at a game from the TradeWise Gibraltar Masters tournament that just took place. This game is from February 1st, 2018, between Grandmaster Alexander Motylev, age 38, versus Argentinian Grandmaster Fernando Peralta. So let's get right into it. E4, C6, Caro Kann, D4, D5, E5, advanced Caro Kann. Bishop F5, C5 is also possible. Knight F3, E6, Bishop E2, Knight E7, castles, and now H6. Just making room to tuck that bishop away if necessary on H7, and also sometimes the E7 knight will drop into F5. C3. So now we can see that this looks just like an advanced French defense variation, except that black has gotten his bishop out to F5 already. Now, in the French, however, the bishop on F5 might still be on C8, but the pawn on C6 would be on C5, actually putting pressure on the white center. And this difference right here is very important. Even though black has his bishop outside of the pawn chain, we will see that white will take advantage of the fact that black is slow in playing c5. So let's go ahead a few moves. So knight d7. This is all normal stuff. And here Motylev plays a4. The bishop drops back to h7. And now a5, just taking more space. And here Peralta decides to win a pawn by playing bishop takes b1, rook takes b1, and you can see the a5 pawn is no longer defended. Of course, this is all preparation by Motylev. So queen takes a5 and now b4. And what happens? So for the price of a pawn, white makes it very difficult for black to get in a liberating c5 advance. Also, he gains time on the queen. So what is white planning to do with this time? Well, as he has more space on the king side, he is going to try to use those two bishops and his extra space on the king side to generate an attack against the black king. So queen d8 and bishop d3. So with the free tempi, white puts his light square bishop on the most aggressive squares on the board. Knight b6, and there it is, h4. So now we have this attack. Now the position is closed, so the onus is on white to find a way to break through. Knight jumps in to c4, h5, and now b5. Knight h4, a5. So we see that the this attack on opposite wings has developed, and so usually whoever can get their breakthrough first is going to win. However, when the king is involved, the that is a deal breaker. Even though black may get his queen side counterplay in first, the fact that his king is on the king side and often can come under attack, that usually will tip the scales. So b takes a5, so white takes time to play on the queen side a little bit. Queen takes a5, and now rook b3, protecting that c pawn right there. Knight c8, and we can see that black still has to unravel his position. However, in these closed positions, you usually have a lot of time to make all of these types of maneuvers, and this is what black is relying on. Queen g4, of course, attacking g7, making it difficult for black to complete his development. Queen a2, now attacking the rook on b3. Rook drops back to b1. Queen a5. So we can see that Peralta would be satisfied with the draw at this point. if Motylev say defended the pawn again with rook b3. Here, Motylev finds a very powerful concept and plays bishop to g6. And the point of this move is that the black light squares are very weak. And so, for instance, as f takes g6, you can see that queen can come to e6, and afterwards the knight can come. And let's say, for example, move like knight e7. You have just good prospects for the future for white's attack. After all, for example, after f takes, queen takes e6, knight e7, knight g6. If this rook went to g8, and you could just pick up the rook after knight takes g7. So after rook h7, knight takes e7 can still be played, and then white can pick up another pawn on c7. So black's pieces are all misplaced and discombobulated at this point. This is why Peralta chose to move bishop e7 to try to keep developing. But Motylev is not to be denied and played the move bishop takes f7 check, drawing the king out. And again, this is all based on all of those pawns just being on light squares. So the king comes out, and now the knight goes into g6. The rook comes out to e8, and it looks like Peralta might be able to get away with the king if he can just get into g8. The problem is right now is that pawn on e6. You know, he has all these pawns on light squares, and white is just waiting to eat him up. So while the king is waiting on f7, there's f4. With the idea simply is f5 and just breaking open the f-file. Queen a2. So there's Peralta's ace in the hole. He attacks the unprotected rook. And if you look at the position, it's hard for white to really deal with this attack on the b1 rook. There's no squares for the dark squared bishop on c1 to go to. For example, bishop d2, will just be captured. e3 is no good. So that bishop really can't move. So here, Motylev made a fantastic move. He just simply attacked the queen and sacrificed the rook with rook b2. Knight takes b2, and he did not even recapture. He just simply pressed on with the attack. F5 exclamation mark. Rook g8, and then f6 just pressing through. G takes f6, e takes f6, and now bishop takes f6. This was met by knight e5 check, king e7 of course, and now the rook gets picked up on g8, knight b6, and queen f7 check, and the next move the bishop will drop, and Peralta resigned in this position. So 30 move miniature game, powerful chess by Motylev, and that's a good gambit to remember. That gambit where he sacrificed the pawn on a5, and he made white pay dearly. So I hope you enjoyed that quick miniature. I'm going to be looking at a couple of these other recent games and posting them in quick fashion. So I'll see you soon on the next video. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to check the links below.